The history of Indonesia dates back thousands of years, with archaeological evidence suggesting human habitation as early as 40,000 years ago. The archipelago's rich biodiversity and fertile land attracted early settlers, leading to the emergence of various ancient kingdoms and cultures. Notable among these were the Srivijaya and Majapahit empires. The Srivijaya Empire, established in the 7th century on the island of Sumatra, became a maritime powerhouse, controlling trade routes between India and China. It was a center of Buddhism and Hinduism and played a pivotal role in spreading these religions throughout Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, the Majapahit Empire, founded in the late 13th century on the island of Java, became one of the largest and most powerful empires in Indonesian history. It promoted Hinduism and extended its influence to neighboring regions. Islam and European arrival, 7th to 18th century. The spread of Islam to Indonesia began around the 7th century, primarily through trade and cultural exchanges with Muslim merchants. By the 13th century, Islam had firmly taken root, coexisting with existing Hindu and Buddhist beliefs. The Islamic sultanates, such as Aceh and Malacca, emerged as dominant forces, and Islam became a unifying factor among the diverse Indonesian archipelago. In the 16th century, European powers began to arrive in Indonesia in search of spices, especially cloves, nutmeg, and mace. Portuguese and later Dutch and British traders established their presence in the archipelago, leading to conflicts with local rulers and the imposition of colonial rule. The Dutch East India Company, VOC, eventually gained control over much of the Indonesian territory, exploiting its resources and labor for profit. Colonial era and struggles for independence, 19th to early 20th century. The Dutch colonial rule, which lasted for over 3 centuries, brought significant changes to Indonesia's society and economy. The Dutch implemented a forced cultivation system, known as cultuurstelsel, forcing peasants to cultivate cash crops like coffee and sugar. This system resulted in the exploitation and impoverishment of the local population. Resistance to Dutch colonial rule grew in the early 20th century, leading to the formation of nationalist movements. One of the most prominent figures in this era was Sukarno, who played a pivotal role in advocating for independence. World War II and Japan's occupation of Indonesia weakened Dutch control, and on August 17, 1945, Sukarno proclaimed Indonesia's independence. Post-independence era, 1945-present. The proclamation of independence marked the beginning of Indonesia's struggle for recognition as a sovereign nation. The Dutch, however, sought to reassert their colonial control, leading to a bitter and protracted conflict known as the Indonesian National Revolution. After years of negotiations and international pressure, the Dutch finally recognized Indonesia's independence in 1949. Sukarno became Indonesia's first president and pursued a policy of non-alignment during the Cold War, seeking to balance relations with both Western and Eastern Bloc countries. However, his authoritarian rule and economic mismanagement led to political instability and turmoil. In 1966, General Suharto led a coup and took control of the government. Under his New Order regime, Indonesia experienced stability and economic growth, but also witnessed significant human rights abuses and repression of political dissent. Suharto's rule lasted for over 3 decades, until he was forced to step down in 1998 amid widespread protests and economic turmoil. The post-Suharto era marked a period of political reform and democratization. Indonesia held its first direct presidential election in 2004, and the country has since seen multiple peaceful transfers of power. It has also made strides in economic development and international diplomacy. Cultural and religious diversity. Indonesia's history is marked by its cultural and religious diversity. The nation is home to various ethnic groups, languages, and religions. The indigenous cultures and traditions of Indonesia, such as wayang kulit, shadow puppetry, and batik, have been recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage. Religiously, Indonesia is predominantly Muslim, with the majority of its population practicing Islam. However, it is also home to significant Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, and indigenous faith communities. The interplay of these religions has shaped Indonesia's cultural and social fabric, fostering a sense of unity in diversity.
The history of Indonesia is a remarkable journey through time, filled with tales of ancient empires, colonialism, independence struggles, and cultural diversity. From the early kingdoms of Srivijaya and Majapahit to the challenges of modern democracy, Indonesia's story reflects the resilience and dynamism of its people. As Indonesia continues to evolve, its rich history remains a source of inspiration and a testament to the nation's enduring spirit.